guys? Hold on one second. We're having some technical difficulties. Okay. Hey guys. Sorry, we had some tech issues, as we do. Setting this up, getting it ready. I'm all dressed up in my like hideous t-shirt. Hi y'all. So today we're gonna get everyone a few minutes to start. I have to send one last sext to a boy. Okay, that's done. Gotta keep him happy, you know? Hi guys. You guys have sound, right? Someone said there's no sound, but you guys can hear me, right? Yes? Okay. No, I'm sexting my man. Just, yeah, no. Thank you for telling me I look pretty. I'm basically hungover and this is the amount of effort you guys get. I'm so sorry. You deserve better, but you have chosen to make me your favorite YouTuber and that sucks. That sucks a lot. So today we're on part 3 of our live stream series. Here, let me move this closer. There's like a lot of ceiling that we don't need to see. We're doing part 3 of our live stream series for charity, and I know like 100 people have donated to the charity campaign. It has raised $2,400. Can you believe that? My goal when I started this was to raise 300. And I was like, I guess I can like donate another 200. We'll make it a nice round 500 and like, you know, that'll be great. I never thought it would hit like almost $2,500. It's wild. And so I am just so proud of all of you guys. I'm so proud. We're just adding blessings on blessings. And what the donations are going towards, I told you this before, but it's going to Gethsemane Garden Baptist Church. It's a Black Baptist church here in New York City. And a lot of the residents live below the poverty line. Some even live in shelters. And the kids really need back to school supplies, not just like the pencils and the pens, but like they need clothes, they need like food gift cards so that they can buy lunch, like for the high school students and the college kids. So little things that like we don't think about. I mean, you know, hopefully we don't have to think about these things. I did when I was a kid, but like so many kids below the poverty line end up dropping out of school because they don't have the supplies to get their homework done and they're embarrassed. And that just like, that breaks my heart. That breaks my heart. Education is the key to everything because every problem that we have circles back to people who don't have the opportunity for an education and they end up poor. They stay poor. They stay poor generationally. And it's not because they're stupid, and it certainly isn't because they're lazy. It's always so weird to me that like I grew up in Southern California, and when you would encounter a racist person, their like thing was Mexicans are lazy. And we're like, excuse you? Mexican people. Lazy? They're the hardest working people I've ever seen. Like all poor people are, and certainly all immigrants are so hardworking. Like, it's just so ridiculous. Like, just say you're a racist and be on your way, okay? Don't try to make up some bullshit and act like you're operating under the umbrella of logic. You're not. So we are all better than that. We are all here, and we're gonna do great things. So I've been answering the questions because this is how it went. I said, if you guys donate 15 bucks, I'll answer a question live on a live stream. And I had no idea there would be this many. So I'm still not even sure that I can get through them all today. So if I don't get to your question, I'm just gonna respond like via text on here. Like you can respond, when you guys leave a note, I can like say thanks and like write a message back. So that's what I'm gonna do. But I'm really gonna try. We've got an hour because YouTube kind of caps it at that. Okay, all right. And I know one of you guys like DM'd me your question because you couldn't figure it out here. I'm gonna respond to you via DM. Like, don't worry, I won't like blast your business on the internet. You love my comfy clothes? God bless you. God bless you. This is my friend Eliza. Do you know her? Eliza Schlesinger. She's a stand-up comedian. She's on her 5th Netflix special. She's also on her 2nd movie with Marky Mark. I want to murder her. I'm like, tell me everything starting with how he smells. And if his voice is as sexy in real life as it is on TV, she's like, yeah, it is. I'm obsessed. So, So this is her merch shirt, and I love it, and I wear it, and I feel like a badass. Okay, so should we get started? Should I move this closer? All right. And sorry I'm doing the most basic thing. Like, I'm in pajamas, drinking out of a mug that says, Happy Fall, y'all. I'm so sorry. I promise I don't have any live, laugh, love signs around my house, or like, gather painted on wood in the fridge, or like in the kitchen. I don't. But I'm tired, so I gotta get stuff going. Okay. So Sandy, I talk to Sandy a lot. Hi, Sandy. Okay, so our question is careers. My question is about careers, specifically the salon industry. This is interesting. I've worked in several salons, and for the most part, I've always gotten along with my coworkers. But when I moved to LA, I was always friendly with my coworkers and had good relationships with them. But there would always be those 2 or 3 girls that no matter how polite I was, that they had this snobby, bitchy, like I run this place kind of attitude. I'm a confrontational person, and I have no problem standing up for myself outside of the workplace. But when it comes to my job, I like to keep the peace. And I don't like to bring my sassy when necessary side with me to work. So when I moved back to San Diego, I want to get back into the industry. I'm just tired of dealing with catty girls like that in the salon. What do I do? It ain't the salon, girl. It ain't just the salon. You encounter people like this everywhere, on every industry, in every sorority, in every microcosm you can. Because people, no matter what sample size they're in, the dynamics end up playing out almost the exact same way. You know, like scientists have observed this when they put people in 4 people, 30 people, like the dynamics replay, and people are who they are. So those girls who are bitchy and have this like territorial attitude to your salon, it's not just the salon, that's who they are. And you're going to encounter a certain percentage of the population who is like this no matter what. And I strongly encourage you to flip-flop your way of doing things. I would be less confrontational in your interpersonal relationships and more confrontational at work. And as the old cliche goes, like you hear on every time you watch every season of The Bachelor, I'm not here to make friends. I didn't come here to make friends. I didn't. I came here to make money. I came here to further my goals. Of course I want to make friends, and of course I want people to like me, because that's crucial to me advancing. It's like a Machiavellian reason I want people to like me, not because I need to be friends with Deb in accounting. I don't care. But Deb in accounting is going to get Chris in graphic design on board, who's going to loop in Amy, the managing editor, and then they're all going to be Team Shallon, and they're going to listen to me, and I'm going to have more power, right? It's not like, I just want everyone to like me. Like I do, but come on. At the end of the day, I have enough friends. I got friends. I got a mama. I got good friends. I got a boyfriend. I'm good. So I'm at work for the bag, and I don't let anyone walk all over me. And I learned this from my ex-husband. He's the sweetest person. And I would listen to him on the phone with his employees. He works for the biggest hedge fund in the world. And he's a software architect. He designs the software that keeps like Russian and Chinese hackers out of the largest banks in the world. So he knows what he's talking about. And oh boy, brother, I was like, if you ever spoke to me like you speak to your employees, because he'd be like, I'm sorry, I didn't ask why you didn't do it. I said, when is it going to get done? Like he was like, no joke. If someone got between him and the business goals, off with their head. And he was a good leader and he was very effective, but it was like a no nonsense environment. And that's what it should be. So if you're dealing with people like this, girls like that, they're going to press on you because they view you as weak. They're bullies, and bullies only respond to strength. And when we take the high road with people like that, we're like, oh, they're not gonna bother me. You know what they see? They're a bull and they see a waving red flag. They're like, aha! They think that you're weak. They don't think that you're like, you have integrity. They think that you're weak. Now look, there's 2 ways this could play out actually. Either you ice them out completely, you give them 0 time, 0 attention, you literally turn and walk away if they start running their mouth on you, right? And then they're gonna be like, all right, she's not weak, she's not bouncing the ball back here. We don't sense the confrontation that we want so that we can get a power jolt off of that. Because people like this, they can't differentiate between positive and negative interactions, right? Attention is attention is attention. Whether it's a screaming fight or a bouquet of flowers, they don't give a fuck. Because their internal core of esteem is just withered and flaccid. So you could either ice them out completely and just not engage, but that's really hard in a work environment, or you stand up for yourself. And if you do it right, you only got to do it like once or twice. So when people start popping off like that to me, like I employ kind of a mix. It's icy, confrontational silence. Silence is very unnerving for people. Like if you look at villains in movies, they're not like, "Ah!" like shrieking and screaming. They're quiet. They drop their voice. They stare. It's unnerving. And so if you can give them back, if they're like saying something smart to you and you're just like, they're gonna be like, they're gonna be a little creeped out. And they're not gonna wanna engage with you because they don't think they can predict the outcome, right? And people like that, they're looking for an easy fight. They're looking to pick a fight with someone who they can beat. And so that means, sorry, my back hurts like so much. Look at me, I look like I'm 1,000 years old. This is like an episode of Murder, She Wrote, like pillows and tea and I'll put the pillow away. Oh, now you can see my hideous pajamas. Is that better? Sorry. I'm so sorry. So I would stand up for yourself. If you're going to do it right, do it once. Don't make it like a big, shrill, hysterical thing. Be like, do not speak to me like that again, Hannah. Do you understand me? Not again. And if you do that once or twice, they're gonna get the message that you aren't the one, you know, because this is our territory. Our workplace is our territory. And I look back on my career and so much of the time, the advancement opportunities I miss is because I didn't stand up for myself. I didn't fight for the ideas that I had brought to the table that someone else claimed as their own. I didn't like point out all of my accomplishments. I downplayed my skills and I just let bullies run over me because I wanted to keep the peace. Fuck the peace. Fuck the peace. Unless you literally work for the Peace Corps, fuck the peace. Focus on what you need to get ahead and clear those people out your way. Also, people in Los Angeles are awful, so. I bet they were wearing all these kicky hats and had like a Texas Longhorn tattoo right there, you know? I hate girls like that. Okay, Shanti, wow, Shanti, you donated $50. Thank you, that's so sweet. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Okay, so Crystal, this is a question from Crystal. Hold on. Yeah, they hate, thank you, Sandy. I'm so glad you hated LA too. I mean, I'm not glad. I didn't want you to hate LA, but they're the worst. LA is literally just the weather. I'm from there. If you took away the weather, people would be like, these are the worst people. Because this is what I always say about New York and LA. There's an equal number of douchebags in New York and LA, right? Population-wise. In New York City, if you're a douchebag, you went to Princeton. You run a hedge fund, you're an investment banker, you play Division I lacrosse, you can back your shit up, right? Like, not like anyone earns the right to be a douchebag, but like they kind of can. In Los Angeles, when you're a douchebag, you're like working on getting verified on Insta and like, I'm driving Uber right now, but I have like this clothing line and like CBD gummy. You're a loser. You're a broke ass loser. You wanna be a douche? Earn it, be rich. So Crystal says, I recently started talking to a guy and he was so perfect and I liked him and he liked me. Everything was great until he said he saw his ex out somewhere and decided he didn't want to move what we had going on any further. He still wanted to be friends, of course, but I said I didn't want to speak to him anymore because I was so hurt and I haven't spoken to him since and I've hidden his IG posts so I won't be tempted to look because it will hurt my feelings again. Good girl. A good mute feels excellent. It feels so healthy. It's like an emotional salad. I'm not really sure how to feel anymore because I really did like him and he initiated everything from our first conversation to flirting and all of this. And I recently had seen stories, she saw his ex looking at her stories. So I feel even more weird about this. I feel used and tossed to the side because I did share personal things with this guy. So help. So I feel like this has happened to me so many times and weirdly, I have noticed a correlation between like a really assertive, aggressive guys and them not being over their ex. And I find that that happens because they're trying to take what I call the relationship equivalency exam. You know, you end a relationship up here in like the sweatpants Chinese food phase and you're single and you have to start over here from like, oh, the Tinder date, oh, where'd you go to college? Blah, blah, blah. They want to just like kind of slot right into there. They're lazy. They probably didn't want to get out of that relationship in the first place. So they're trying to just sort of like sub you in. So they put things in hyperdrive. And maybe this wasn't the case. Maybe this was paced completely normally, but beware of that, you know? And so I want to say like, fuck this guy for dropping you like that. But honestly, girl, you dodged a bullet. Like I went down a path with a dude like this for a year. And I was always like, are you sure you're over your, yes, Shallon, of course I'm sure. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. And how did I even know that? Because I knew that she existed. You know what I mean? If someone's really over someone, they never talk about them. Like my boyfriend does not know anything about like my college boyfriend. Why would he? You know, like it's, whatever. Honestly, like he does know a lot about my ex-husband because I'm not super over that. I'm not. It's not that I'm not, I don't know. It's complicated. It's just like, it's hard and it's like a horrible life milestone that you just didn't think was like gonna happen. Ugh, I don't wanna cry. I'm sorry, this took a weird turn. But my point is, the fact that this ex-girlfriend was sort of this like looming third party in your relationship, that's kind of a bad sign, you know? But it's better, really, it is better in the long run that he was honest with you and wasn't like, well, you know, no, I'm over her. It is bullshit he wants to still be friends because he wants to do to you what he's done with the ex, like keep you on the hook and then kind of dance back and forth. No, you know, like no. No. I love that you guys are like having conversations with each other. I hear the word Africa come up. Are some of you guys from Africa? I love Africa. Sorry, I'm only getting like bits and pieces of what you're writing. So, how come you give advice on getting over someone yet you're not over your ex-husband? Would you rather have a personal trainer who has been thin their whole life or someone who is fat and is now in shape? I'd rather have someone who knows my struggles, right? Lessons come from experience. That's what wisdom is. And like I'm learning things in real time and I'm sharing them with you in real time. And I think like I don't want to talk to someone who's like professorizing. You know, I'm not the professor like reading from the text like, well, this is what studies say. I'm big sis, girl. I've been there. I've been in the trenches with you. I'm here now. I get it. So I want to learn along with you. I'm a few steps ahead, hopefully, but like, you know, this is life. Life is not super easy. And that's the sucky part is we think like, oh, once I reach X age, once I reach this milestone in my life, like nothing else, I will never be sad about this again. And these issues will just resolve themselves. And it does not work like that. Once the ink's dry on this divorce decree, I won't care anymore. Nope. Hurt goes on. It's grief. It's grief. Once I buried my grandmother, I wasn't like, la la la, it's fine. Like, it's grief. It keeps going, you know? And part of you carries it forever. And if we tell ourselves that we're weak or that we're stupid or we have nothing to give to the world because we're experiencing that, we're just compounding our misery. So yes, Crystal, I understand where you're coming from, this guy dropping you, but like, I do think you dodged a bullet. And like, unfortunately, this is just how dating goes sometimes. Like, you just have to kind of like get further in and just know that you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. But you know what? If you wanna insulate yourself from this a little bit, ask people about their exes. Be like, how did your last relationship end? Like, how do you feel about it? And really listen to someone's response. Because if someone's over it, they're gonna give you an answer that's very neutral. Because the opposite of love is not hate, it's apathy, right? So if he's like, she's a fucking bitch and blah, 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 and if he's like tearing into his ex-girlfriend, not over it. Not over it. If he'll rage about her, he'll have sex with her, right? But if he's like, you know what, we were just two people going in two different directions and I would have loved for it to have ended better, but that's the way it goes, but you know, life goes on. Okay, but you really have to look for those red flags and evaluate situations neutrally, and part of that neutral evaluation is not having sex with someone too soon. Once you get your body involved, you get your emotions involved, this is just biology. This is biology. So really try to hold out as long as you can so that you can evaluate from more of like a third party standpoint almost, and really not lie to yourself about the writing that might be on the wall. Okay. Okay. And by the way, this chat is going to live on my YouTube channel, so don't worry. And if you guys have other questions you want to ask, if you want to keep on donating, you can go to my Instagram page. It's ShallonXO and click the link in my bio, and the very top link goes straight to the GoFundMe, and you can donate and you can leave your question there. And I'm not going to be doing any more live streams answering questions for this particular campaign, but like I said, I'll answer them on the actual GoFundMe site. Like I can write a response to you and we'll get it done that way. But I'm so excited about this. Okay, so Jenna, hold on. Jenna said, thanks for giving us an opportunity to get involved with the great cause. Thank you guys. Thank you. You guys, I mean, I could have all the opportunities in the world. If I don't have anyone who's listening to me, it doesn't mean anything. So thank you guys for listening and tolerating me. So I recently graduated from college in the city I grew up in. I'd always wanted to go away to school, but I didn't end up doing that for financial reasons. Now I have access to a visa that would allow me to live in and work in the UK indefinitely. I'd really love to move to London. I'm 23, I want a fresh start and establish myself and begin my career in a new place. I also have a pretty toxic family dynamic and it would be great to get some distance. But the school I went to has lots of connections locally, and I've been getting feedback from my family that it's a mistake to move right after school and I should establish myself here first. I should add that I'm financially independent and I don't want them to pay for any part of this. Staying here does not appeal to me at all. I want to start my life, but I'm scared of making a huge mistake if I leave everything. I don't have a single connection in the UK. So I figured you would have valuable perspective considering you're moved to New York at such a young age. So, okay, move. Go to the UK. I moved to New York City. I knew one person, one. And I saw her like once a week. Like we were not hanging out all the time. And like, that's the point, right? It's not really much of a leap if you already know everyone there, you have a completely established social circle, an established job. It's like, then it would be the same as your hometown. The whole point is you want to grow and you want to stretch, and growth is sometimes painful. Growing pains, right? It's scary, it's overwhelming, but everything in life that's worth doing is learning to drive, having sex for the first time, terrifying, going away to college, and moving and starting a career and starting your own life as an adult. Like getting married, having a child, building a house. Like these are all overwhelming, scary milestones, but people keep doing them for a reason because there's a payoff. And I think like your family is telling you to stay because they are toxic. So they don't want you, who they maybe use as a little puppet and like a punching bag for their issues. They don't want you flying the coop, or maybe they're just plain jealous that they never had to get up and go to get out of where they are and improve their circumstances, hence the toxicity. You don't have to live that label. Because let me tell you, one thing I've observed living here in New York City, like when I moved here, I obviously wanted to be a writer and I got on that path. I remember one of the happiest days of my life. I'm gonna cry thinking about it. Am I like getting my period? Why am I so emotional? Ugh. I'm on keto, so I'm like not having a lot of carbs. So I'm like carb crying. But one of the happiest days of my life was when I got an unpaid internship at Self magazine because I was on the path. I was working 2 jobs. I was working every single day of the week. And I was like working in the fashion closet. I was 22 or 23, like racking things up. And I was like ecstatic because I knew I was finally on that path and nothing was going to take me off of it. Nothing. And nothing did. And I ascended real fast through the ranks of New York City media. And that wouldn't have happened had I stayed back in California and established myself there, because you get in a lane and it's very hard to get out. My friends who lived with me, like when I moved to New York, like the girlfriends I made, they also wanted to be writers. They wanted to write for magazines. They wanted to write for books. So, but they didn't want to be poor, you know, to start out. Like they weren't, their dads were rich. Like they were never going to be poor, but they got a job in like HR, in ad sales, like it. And they're like, I'll switch later. I'll switch over later. And they never did. And the jealousy, I mean, it's dissipated now, but there were a good few years where like our friendship was like ruined. They couldn't handle being around me because I was on the path I wanted to be on and they weren't. So don't stay in your hometown and get established. The fuck's the point of getting established if you're gonna leave? Don't build a house if you're gonna tear it down, right? Go where you wanna go. And worst case scenario, it sucks, you give it a year, you're like, I don't like it. I don't like fish and chips, I'm over this. You leave. You leave. You're not a tree. You can get up and go wherever you want. People always catastrophize and tell themselves that their decisions are permanent, and the only permanent decision in life is having a child and murder, which you're probably not going to do. Like, you can erase and undo almost anything except for face tattoos, and the ones on your fingers, don't do that. Like, everything else is switchable. You don't like it, leave, change. You're 23. So what? You're 24 and starting over someplace else? Big deal. Big deal. Means nothing. Go chase your dreams. You have them for a reason. Life, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, does not put a dream in your heart that you aren't capable of fulfilling. It just doesn't. Okay. Okay. Oh, I see the word escort in this question. I'm so excited. Anna. Recently, I met a female friend, found her to be fun. I saw some red flags though. I'm afraid she's some kind of escort. Oh God, wow. I try not to judge, but I'm afraid by hanging out with her, people will think I'm an escort also, or like whatever you call it. I don't want guys thinking I'm close with an escort because it reflects badly on my character. And frankly, if she rented by the hour. I love the musical Cabaret. She's not exactly my dream friend. Recently, I saw quite a few Instagram models, and like, we know what that means. So what's your take on this? Not to mention, I hate when my boyfriend follows these Instagram models and then has the guts to tell me they appreciate women's intelligence the most. Ugh, I know, right? It's like, oh, just be like, I like her tits. I'm looking at her tits while I'm on the toilet. That's what I'm doing with these Instagram models. You know, whatever. So I like to have a really diverse group of friends, because the one thing I need, and two things I need in my friends: someone I can learn from, and someone who is not judgmental, right? And usually those two things go hand in hand, because if someone's judgy on either side of the table, you're not learning, right? You're just like casting your own judgment, and you're blocking the blessings of being around a lot of other different types of people and what they might teach you. And like, I posted on my Instagram, because I let you guys vote on the next topic, I posted something like, what kind of Post Malone topic do you want to see? And someone wrote, I don't want to know anything about Post Malone. I don't like his music. I think he's weird. I have nothing to learn from him. And I'm like, that's a bad attitude to have, because if anything, you can learn more from people who you don't think you have anything in common with. They open your eyes the most. If we just surround ourselves with people who look and think and behave exactly like we do, what's the point? You know, I might as well be friends with a mirror. So we never know the life lessons we can learn from other people. And I'm not saying be friends with someone in like this usury capacity, but go into something with a more open mind. You know, I think being an escort, dude, get after it, man. I give it away for free like a clown. If you can charge for it, do it, girl. Put a price tag on that hoo-ha. Why not? Like, be safe. I mean, if you think there's red flags in terms of her personality, if she's like a drug addict, if she's like really desperate and weird, all right, that's fine. But if it's just her profession, like if you didn't know this about her, if she was just like a bikini model or whatever, okay, like you might not have that same sort of like value call over it, and you might be more receptive to being friends with her. And I'm not saying you have to be BFF. Make her a second, third tier friend, but get to know her. Like, ask her questions. Be like, why are you an escort? Like, tell me about this, you know, not from a place of accusation, but just like, tell me about this line of work. Like, what drew you to it? How do you feel about it? Maybe she's like, I'm working my way through med school and I'm cashing out. Good for her. Why not? All of us do something in our life, whether it's our profession or it's who we date or it's our religion or where we come from, that can draw a lot of judgment, right? And I think we're really selling ourselves short if that's the way we approach interactions, where there's a really big opportunity to learn. And get some good like tips on hitting your angles in Instagram photos. Those girls know it. I bet she has some great blowjob tips. You know what? I want to do a video with her. I do. I would love to do a video with an escort. I would love it. That'd be so. Have her DM me. I'm not even kidding. Have her DM me. I want to talk about this. I find it so fascinating. So Astrid. Okay. So Astrid said, I want to apologize for my English because I'm French and I'm afraid of my spelling mistake. Should I read this in a French accent? I'm very thankful for the effort you put into giving the children, and as a religious person, I can relate to that a lot. I want to ask you a question about this girl. I'm 19, we are friends, and we do the same studies, so we see each other all the time. The problem is, I have a crush on her for 2 years. I am gay, and I don't know how to communicate those feelings for her. I know she will reject me, she is straight, but I feel like I have to tell her because it's killing me to hide my feelings from her. I'm not afraid of rejection, but I am afraid to lose her as a friend. She is a good friend of mine, and I'm afraid that things get weird and she'll just make fun of me for liking her. I also don't want to make her feel uncomfortable. Please help me. I don't know what to do, and I want to move on. Was that accent great? Mon père est français, alors? Mon père est de Bordeaux. So, I am not great at like gay dating mores, but if this was like you and a guy friend, I would say don't tell him that you like him. I mean, here's what you have to do. You have to get back to neutrality, because if you're saying, I don't want to lose her as a friend, she isn't your friend. Friendships are neutral. I don't want to bone my friends, right? And I am bisexual. And like, so I purposely don't ever have that dynamic with girls or whatever. So I think you can sit her down and be like, look, I realize I've sort of like got some feelings going on. I don't want you to be weird. I don't want this to be weird. But I do want us to get back to a place where we are legit friends, right? So I'm gonna take like a few weeks. I'm just gonna step back and like let the dust settle, do some other things, and then I'm gonna be back. Or maybe just don't even tell her that. Like if you think that's gonna have the same ruinous effect of being like, I love you, mon amour, je t'aime, then maybe don't say it. Also, if you think she's gonna make fun of you, that's not good. That's a data point about her character. Like, again, if it was a guy and a girl and you told a guy, I like you, and he's gonna be like, ew, bleh. Like, that's not someone you should like to begin with. That's a douchebag. And you can have gay, straight douchebag situations, you know what I mean? So ask yourself if like, do you really like her, or is this like a crush based on proximity? Women are hardwired to fall for the most mateable person in a population. People they spend a lot of time around. We develop feelings for them. That's why we always crush on our coworkers, the guy who sits right next to us in class who we're around all the time. Like, it's not because they're actually that extraordinary, it's proximity based. So maybe if you got a little bit of distance from her, you'd be like, you know. Also ask yourself, like, why did you let it kind of get down this road if you know she's straight? Like, I used to always go for the dead end guy. He had a girlfriend, he was moving away, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of the same scenario here. It's like this was a dead end from the jump. So what were you telling yourself to keep chasing that rabbit, you know? Maybe you feel very ambivalent about your sexuality, and her possibly being mean to you about it is like this sort of self-satisfying, like, oh yes, I'm unworthy, tell me, you know, that kind of thing. Or maybe you are genuinely like not comfortable with being gay, and so to go out into the gay community and get rejected by other gays seems like very scary, you know? So it's almost like something you can anticipate being rejected by a straight person, so it isn't so personal. You know what I mean? It's like she's not really rejecting me, she's rejecting the fact that I'm a woman. So look a bit deeper into this, because I think, you know, there's more to it than that, but take some time for yourself. And if you don't want to explain to her why you need to back away, you don't have to. Be busy, like, and legitimately be busy. Don't just like lie, but yeah, don't lie, but just like take a step back and let the dust settle until you can be neutral friends with her. And then you might look at her and be like, I don't really need to. Okay. Astrid, what a pretty name. Okay, Andrea. Shallon, I asked my guy friend if he's in town on Monday, and he said no. After my birthday, after asking why I told him that it's my birthday and I wanted to treat him with a beer. It's your birthday and you want to buy him a beer? Okay, hold on. So he replied with, ooh, that would be nice. So now I'm confused. That answer was a bit too abstract for me. How do I proceed from here? I don't want to be pushy, but I also would like to spend time with him on my birthday. A couple of mentions. He also treated me with a beer for his birthday, although there was after college class and we just stopped in for a drink. We haven't met specially for that. There's no love interest between us, as we both have other partners. On a final note, I love your video. Listening to you is relaxing and revealing at the same time. Thank you. So buy a beer for someone else. Because if someone's offering to do something nice for me, I don't make it hard on them. I don't make it like vague and opaque and mysterious. I'm like, great, amazing. You tell me when and where, I'll be there. And if he isn't telling you that, that's because he doesn't really care if it happens. And it's also like, you asked him to hang out and he said no, but only when you offered him something, he's like, oh, okay. That's not a balanced relationship. I love you, but I don't know that I believe that there's not a deeper subtext here, right? On your birthday, I would expect you to be hanging out with your boyfriend, right? Not a guy you have to purchase goods and services for and lavish with beer presents in order to get his attention. You deserve better than that on your birthday. So I wouldn't like keep running someone down to buy them a present. He should be buying you a present. And I know like, oh, he bought you a beer on his birthday. Who gives a shit? He's a man. Men make 25% more than women. He can buy you a beer on your birthday. We gotta raise the bar. We gotta raise the bar. And I don't care if a guy is my boyfriend, my brother, or a good bro pal. I deserve to be treated well no matter what that dynamic, when it's a male to female interaction, right? I'm not a clearance rack girlfriend, friend, daughter, sister, cousin, whatever. I ain't it. And you aren't either. Alrighty. Sherry Holland, thank you for donating. Ari, okay. I've been talking to this boy for 3 months now, and we do everything a couple does. Oh, I know where this is going. We go on dates, we text all day. We are basically boyfriend, girlfriend with the same loyalty, but without the title. In the beginning, I was not ready for a relationship. The title and everything, and he told me to take his time, but now I feel as though I am. How do I become his girlfriend? And let's be real, I am done with my summer antics and have been loyal to him for a while now. How do I allude that I want more even though what we have is really good? Is it good? Is it good? When I get confused about things, I put them into a different like context. I like plug the dynamic into a different like circumstance. If you were going in and working a shift at a job every day, right? And you were getting your paychecks, but you didn't know if you actually worked there. And every day you went in, you're like, I hope my key card works, because they never told you if you worked there or not. But I don't want to ask because it's really good. No, girl, you would be like, do I fucking work here or not? Is this my job? Is this my title? Is this my cubicle? Hello? Is this relationship reciprocal? Women have been terrorized to be the cool girl. I'm just so chill, I'm so cool, like whatever, I love anal and blowjobs and beer. No, man, I don't like any of those things. I like knowing where I stand. I like not getting my time wasted. And so because women have had this like cool girl holocaust, it's gaslighting. It's gaslighting. It's making us feel crazy for trying to communicate what we need to move forward in a situation. And if a guy is a quality guy, he would never want you to feel like that, ever, ever. When I dated quality guys, they were leading the conversation about what we are. I remember Lauren Conrad, who is not exactly a fountain of wisdom to me, was like, my best piece of relationship advice is if you have to ask, what are we? You aren't anything. And like, ugh, that was really true. And not what I wanted to hear at the time, but looking back, it's like, if I have to ask, it's because they're not leading that conversation because they don't want to. Men are hunters, right? What do I always say? They're hardwired to hunt. And if they aren't hunting you, that means they don't think anyone else is gonna hunt you, so what's the rush? Or worse, like they don't care if someone takes you. They don't care. So if he's not like staking his claim to you, if he's assuming your loyalty, which if you have been telling him you're loyal to him, you gotta unwind that shit ASAP. Going back to the job analogy. What do you mean you're freelancing for some other place? Well, I don't fucking work here, right? Do I work here? Why don't you tell me if I work here and then I'll stop freelancing? You don't give me specifics, I don't give you loyalty. That's how this goes. And if that seems harsh, how can we want to be in a relationship with someone if we can't have these transparent conversations? I have a friend who's in this thing. I'm like, she asked her boyfriend to like water her plants while she was out of town, and she's like, I don't think he did it. And I'm like, did you ask him? She's like, no. And I'm like, why? And it's because she's afraid that he'll like get mad and ghost her because he does it all the time. And I'm like, this is not a relationship then. If you can't ask someone, did you water my fucking plants? This is not a relationship, right? I am able to ask my boyfriend anything I feel the need to ask him in order to feel emotionally safe and secure, and vice versa. I'm an open book, you know? And if that's not the relationship you have, so I would pull back. I would sit and be like, you know what? We've been spending a lot of time together and I've loved it, but you know, I'm just kind of feeling like weird about where this thing stands. So I think I'm gonna maybe just take a step back from this. And if he's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Just be like, well, I mean, I don't really understand what it is we're doing. We've been like hanging out for 3 months, and that's not really what I'm after. I'm into more something that's just a bit more defined. My time is precious and my love is precious, and I'm not going to waste it not knowing where I stand. Put the ball in his court and see what he does. If he's like, oh, well, labels are stupid. Well, maybe blowjobs are too. Why don't you learn to suck your own? Anyway, put it in his court and listen to what he says and really read that writing on the wall, you know? Okay. Did you water my eyes? Brianne, thank you for your donation. All right. We got a question from a gay. My favorite questions. Julian. I love the name Julian. Julian from NYC here. Yes, I'm a guy, a gay guy. Your videos give me life. It feels amazing to be a member of the Shallon Entourage, even though I am a boy. Of course, we welcome you here. Anyway, I've been talking to this guy for 2.5 years, but it's been a casual friendship for the most part. I developed feelings for him, and he told me he developed feelings for me as well, but mine are definitely stronger. I knew I liked him when I met him, and I knew I wanted to at least try to start something in the future. We've hooked up a few times, but I've always wanted something more. He's got this specific, fetish that is very rare, and he has told me his issues in the past when it comes to disclosing this information with guys, but I've been okay with this. Sometimes we would argue. I'm dying to know what this fetish is, though. Sometimes we would argue and stop talking, but the universe always kept bringing us together. Is it universe or is it alcohol? Is it alcohol and then you drunk text? Yeah. The universe. It's Snapchat, actually, because I was DMing a fuckboy on Snapchat. That's what I was doing. For instance, we ran into each other randomly, blah, blah, blah. Last November, we kind of got into a relationship. He got into a relationship. So we stopped talking because it made me sad. A few months go by. He's watching my Instagram story, blah, 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 blah. After we chatted, he told me he still has the same boyfriend. His boyfriend is okay with him innocently exploring his fetish on his own without physical touch of another man. I let him know this wasn't okay on my end, and we stopped talking again. Again, we recently reconnected. He told me how he's been with this boy 8 months now, but he told me his boyfriend has no long-term plan. His boyfriend's really rich, doesn't have to worry about money, blah, blah, blah. And he said he still thinks of me sexually when he's by himself. So I'm shocked to hear this. If someone's in a satisfied relationship with someone for 8 months and counting, why would he still be thinking of me like that? This man should be satisfying him. Agree. Yesterday, he texted me saying he wants happiness and fulfillment in his life. And I said, I'm sure you are because you seem happy when I saw you. His reply is, how do you know I'm happy? I'm so confused, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, I don't know what to do here. My theory is, if it isn't a hell yes, it's a hell no. Like I just said, dudes are hunters. And if they want you, they come after you right away. I don't know a single viable man, like an alpha male, a quality man, who would wait 2 months, let alone 2.5 years, to make a move on someone they legitimately wanted to date. It might not be smooth. It might be a little clumsy and awkward when they come after you, but they're coming. And if they aren't, that either means they lack the skills to do so, and if they can't pursue you, child, they don't have the skills to be in a relationship. I mean, right? If you can't pass, if you try out for the NBA and you can't get past like the physical qualifications, you can't be in the NBA. You don't have what it takes to be in the NBA. There's a reason you're weeded out ahead of time, right? So that means he either doesn't want to come after you or he has no skills. And we have to let that play out, as awful as it is. Like, it's hurtful. It's like, no. It's the fetish and it's this other boyfriend. If he wanted to be with you, he would be with you. He wouldn't have a boyfriend for 8 months that he has like clearly no plans on leaving, like clearly. And the reason he's saying this to you is the oldest story in the book. He's just a dick who wants to have 2 boyfriends. It's awful. I know this. I know. I've been there. I've been that person, actually. And it's sucky on both sides. And like, he's gonna keep doing this, emotionally loitering in your life as long as you let him. And he can say that, oh, it's because of this fetish. Girl, it ain't because of the fetish. It's because he's a jerk. And if he has some weird fetish, maybe there's some like underlying issues going on. Like, you don't know. Like, still waters run deep, and usually like where there's smoke, there's fire. I'm sorry, I'm full of like folksy analogies today. I'm pretty tired. But like, the bottom line is, if he wanted you, he would be coming after you in a meaningful way. He wouldn't be breadcrumbing you and stringing you along and saying just enough to keep you on the hook. He knows how to play it. Oh, do I have to say something sexual today? Do I have to say something schmoopy and emotional now? It's manipulative, and you deserve better than that. You will waste another 2.5 years with this person. And ironically, if you really do want him, you have to cut him off, because he needs to know that you mean business. You're either all in or you're all out. I'm done with his dancing. I'm done with his tap dance. No. No one can miss you if they haven't lost you. So, oh, Lourdes Lee. Are you guys like making up these names? They're great. Oh, I dated a 56-year-old ugly guy. He was a lot of fun and I was new to the city. He only has female friends. Red flag. He told me he dated his most attractive 27-year-old friend, then denied it. It was a lie, clearly. He wanted me to hang out with him and I refused. He posted pictures of them hanging out on Instagram, so I asked him to leave me out of this weird triangle that he seemed to want to create. I came across as the bitch to all of his friends for not wanting to accept this. A few weeks later, he calls her while we're in the car together. I calmly broke up with him the next day. Can you give me input about men with only female friends? I thought I'd be making friends through him, but it turned out to just be really uncomfortable. He shared everything with everyone. Oh, and he dyes his gray hair purple. Oh my God, he better be rich AF. So I think you did exactly the right thing. Like, that's so disrespectful. It's so twisted. And like I was just saying, he's a dick who wants to have 2 girlfriends, or 5, or 10, or 20. I guarantee you he was a nerd when he was younger, and he just like has this insatiable bloodlust for like acquiring women. He doesn't think of them as people. He thinks of them as a possession. He doesn't have friends. He has a harem. You know, that's what he wants to view it as. He wants to be this grand, wise puppet master, like pulling all the strings and having the girls like fawn over him. And he can swap you in and out if he sees fit, because you're not people, you're possessions. It's like, oh, a blonde would go with my outfit tonight. I think I'd like to take a redhead to the wedding. That'll go with the flower scheme. I don't think so. Guys who have only female friends, I was actually just talking to my friend Rebecca about this last night. Like, I don't have any guy friends. I mean, I have gay guy friends, but like straight guy friends, like I'll have like one, but not like they're my go-to squad that I hang out with, the first person I call. No, man. If I have a boyfriend, that's the human male in my life, not guys. Like, guys are good here and there to like learn from, you know, it's like a consultant, and they're fine when you're younger, when you're in like high school and college, because you're still learning so much about the opposite sex. Like, you need that consultancy on a more regular basis. But when you're an adult, no, you really shouldn't have a ton of friends of the opposite sex, certainly not only these friends. And even if you did, and even if this was the most normal, non-weird thing in the world, why would you tell your girlfriend that you banged one of them? Why would you do that? That's a very, very bad idea. Don't do that. He was saying that to try to pitch you two against each other. He liked that. He didn't want you guys to get along. He wanted you to fight for his affection. And everyone else in that circle has accepted that as the construct, and you felt like you were the last sane person. I'm sorry, you were the last sane person, so it made you insane to be like, it was gaslighting. It was gaslighting. So if you see dudes who only have female friends, red flag. That means that their ego needs are bottomless. They don't view women as people. And as you know from dating someone who is pushing 60, that ain't never gonna change. Never gonna change. Okay. Sorry. Gosh, I'm gonna have to answer so many of these on. Okay, sorry, they've scrambled and they're all out of order. Ah! Okay. This message is from Princess Williams. I had a doctor named Princess Williams, and she was like the best doctor. Dr. Princess. Dr. Princess. Okay. So this might be my last question, and like I said, I'm going to answer the rest on the GoFundMe page, so go back to where your donation is and I'll respond right there. So don't worry about it. I'm never going to leave you guys hanging. So thank you so much for doing this GoFundMe for the church. I love being able to give back and support an amazing group of people. So sweet. So my question is in regards to the next quantum leap. I'm 20 years old and live in a small town, and I recently started my digital marketing agency and my YouTube channel that I love, and it's been my dream to move to Chicago. Damn, girl, you're making moves. I currently found a great place that I'd like to stay and move into in a few weeks, but my mother is handicapped and I've been taking care of her for the past 10 years. Oh boy, wow. How do I transition from having to focus on her basically as my full-time job to living with roommates? She knows I'm planning on moving and sometimes guilt trips me and is great at being a professional victim. So how do I navigate this process? I know in my heart that this is the best next step that I can take, but I'm honestly so scared. Thank you for inspiring me to take the leap and start my own YouTube channel about K-pop. It's called Princess Galaxy, if you guys want to check that out, and move to a big city. You're like the adventurous, outgoing white sister I've always wanted. Welcome. It'll be our little blended family. We're like Angelina Jolie's kids. So I think everything you're feeling is completely normal. Guilty, excited, trepidatious, constantly reevaluating and questioning, but I'm so glad to hear you say you're moving forward with this. We have to live our lives for ourselves. We have to. That is why we're born. We're not put on this earth. I mean, look, if my mom was handicapped, my entire life would come to a grinding halt. Like, God forbid, knock on all the wood. Like, I can't imagine how hard it is for you to put up those boundaries. But I think boundaries really are going to be the key to success here. And so, I mean, even if your parents aren't handicapped, moving away is like so traumatizing for them. And so like whenever I go visit my mom, she gets so sad when I'm about to leave. And so she makes me plan my next trip before I leave. So she has something to look forward to, you know? So she's like, okay, now I can like manage my sadness. I can like budget my energy. So I know when you're going to be back, and like, I have something to like, I have a metric to cling on to. Moms they're so pure. Well, sometimes, you know, that's why we're here, right? But so I would set some standards and some guidelines with her, and not in like a mean way, but just be like, I'm going to commit to you to like the 10 commandments of you moving away. Call you every single morning, FaceTime you every Friday, come visit every 2 weeks, whatever is realistic and works for you, and set it a little bit tighter than what you might want, because you can always exceed that expectation. But if you don't meet that expectation, then it's going to be a thing. You're going to feel guilty. She's going to play into that. And then it's like, you're going to end up making fear-based and guilt-based decisions, and you might move back. And that's not the right thing to do. And I know in her heart of hearts, she wants you to move on, live a life, and like phrase this is like, Mom, I'm going to go make money for us. You know, so if that's something you need to disseminate, like, I'm going to send home $500 a month. Like, I'm going to subsidize your home health care. Like, whatever you can do. And if you can't do that right now, of course, I mean, you're 20 years old, my goodness. So just tell her that, like, that's your goal. You're like, Mom, I'm not moving out so that I never have to see you again, and you're such a burden, and I hate being around you. I'm moving out to further my life for us. This is an us kind of dream, you know? And I know that I have to do this now. I'm a young woman, and I have to go seek my fortune. And I can't do it in this town, logistically. I mean, maybe there's a compromise. Maybe like you can say, I'm gonna spend 2 years in Chicago, and then you and I are gonna move to the suburbs of Chicago, and I can still commute in and have my life there, but we're gonna live there. It has to work for you, you know? So don't overpromise, but think of something you can do to give her the reassurances that she is still the lady of your life. You're not going to forget about her. You are going to be safe and happy and healthy on your own, right? Because I'm sure that's a huge thing. Like, I'm sure on some level she knows you probably missed out on a lot because you've been taking care of her, and she might think like, oh my God, does she like have the skills to like go out and do this? And it's a big city, and she's a little girl, and blah, blah, blah. So, and she probably feels helpless from her standpoint. Like, I couldn't just drive up and bail her out of something if she needed it. Like, I don't have the funds to like set her up in a penthouse in the sky. So focus on what she might be thinking and worrying about, and validate those with planning. And I think it will wind down the hysteria for like both of you guys, you know? Okay. All right, should we do one more? Got a few more? Oh, should we do a happy ending? Let's do a happy ending. Okay. Hi, Princess! Hi, Princess Galaxy. Good luck, girl. Those winters, they're brutal, yo. It's okay if you read is cool. Like, this is gonna live on my channel. This chat's gonna live on my channel, so you can watch it any old time you want. You can fast forward through the boring parts. Okay, so dirty talk. I talked a little bit about, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go back through my like messages. My boyfriend, he would murder me. Like, he would literally murder me, so I'm not going to do that. Like, I think his mom watches these, so I'm like, not gonna. Yeah. What was I talking about? Okay, a dirty talk. Or no, give me a happy ending topic. Happy ending topic. What do we want, guys? Come on. Hi, Julian. Ew, bukkake. Okay. Oh, toys in bed. Being seductive, anal. Let's see. Okay, an example of dirty talk. Okay. All right. So I am not like a vulgar person. Like I say the F word on here and I shouldn't. My mom's like, stop swearing. I'm like, sorry. But when it comes to like dirty talk in bed, by the way, Mom, if you're watching, just go. It's happy hour somewhere. Just go. So I'm not like a vulgar person. I don't swear like I want you to F me and my pee me. So and I think that's what guys are like brought up on. Porn has ruined young men. Porn has ruined young men. They have such a bizarre expectation for what actual sex looks like. And I have had to tell so many guys, hello, hey, what looks good doesn't always feel good, and vice versa, okay? The things they do in porn are they're like rubbing something like this. Like, please don't do that. You're not trying to take the paint off a car. Don't touch my body in that way. Like, everything's a lot more subtle. And so the dirty talk they hear in porn is like the most vulgar. Oh, do guys like being dominated? I'll get to that in a minute. Don't let me forget. Yes. But yes. So I try to go in the opposite direction. I'm like so proper and so polite, but just with like a ripple of like something bad. Like, I'm gonna fall asleep dreaming of your hand around my throat. Like I woke up fitfully in the night. I had a dream about you and I was saying your name into the night. Max. Like stuff like that. Or not that name, but any name you want. So like things that are just kind of like fantasy like. And I always said like my like sexy persona is like a Bond villainess. She's vulnerable and tender, but she's like menacing kind of. Like you don't know how it's gonna go. Is she gonna be the coquettish kitten? Is she gonna be the dominant one? Is it gonna flip flop? Like, so that's what I try to craft, not just like fuck my pussy. Nah. That's like trashy. I don't know. I mean, if that's what you're into, that's great. For me, I just think it's very like basic actually, even though it feels super like extreme and wild. I actually think it comes across as kind of like unimaginative is what I'm saying. So in order to get good dirty talk, you got to do your research. It's a vocabulary like anything else. If you were renovating a house, you wouldn't be like, thing there. You would be like, I need to learn this vocabulary. Like I'm gonna go to Home Depot and sit my ass there for a day and figure things out. So get a sexy vocabulary, read some erotica. Anais Nin wrote books, I think in like the 30s or maybe the 1910, like she's old school and she is like the godmother of erotic novels. Like, and it's very like lyrical and poetic. And actually like someone had hired her. She's like this poor, the beautiful writer in Paris. And I think she was friends with a lot of prostitutes. She might've been a prostitute, I don't know. But this man hired her to write just like erotica, like bare bones sort of like porn stuff. And she's like, no, she made it like flowery and sensual, you know? So read her stuff. It's really good and it's like sexy and it just puts you in the frame of mind for like that cool, dirty persona. And look, keep it short. Like when I'm dirty talking or dirty texting, it's not like, and then new paragraph, bullet point one, like there's not like rising and falling action. Like I keep it short and sweet because I want to draw the guy out. I prefer to do this over text. Like in real life, it's hard. You have to keep a straight face, blah, blah, blah. And then they don't always know what to respond with. And like I've said before, like if you say something like really dirty in bed to a guy and he doesn't say anything, that's the compliment. That, because you've like stunned him. He's like paralyzed. Because when someone said something really dirty to me, like if like my eyes are closed or something, like this boy grabbed me by the shoulders and he's like, look at me, open your eyes, look at me. And I was just like stunned. It was like the hottest thing a boy has said to me. And it's so simple. Look at me. It's not dirty. It wasn't gross, but it was like connected and it was like lusty and it was like sensual, you know? It shouldn't be porn-ish. It's just like, it's basic. It's like the same 3 words over and over again. Back, oh my god, back, pussy, tits, dick, cock. Cool. So, the name of the author is Anais Nin. Let me see. Anais is her first name, Anais, and then Nin, N-I-N, right? And she wrote a few books, but I think one's like a collection of short stories. They're they're so sexy. You're like, I'm going to move to Paris and I'm going to live in like a co-op with other art students and we are going to drape scarves over our lamps. I sound like Celine Dion, not very sexy. So just to wrap this up, do guys like to be dominated? I think most people like a mix. I don't know anyone that only eats salty foods or only eats sweet foods, right? They eat them both. And the best meals have a mix of those. Salted caramel, right? It's like the sweet and the spicy. It's the pleasure and the pain. So I think any good hookup is like the roles reverse again and again. Like I'm choking him, he's pulling my hair. I smacked him across the face, he called me a bad little girl. Like it really balances out. But yeah, guys definitely like to be dominated for sure. And people, what they need is balance. So there's a reason like CEOs have dominatrixes because they are like in charge all day long. Everyone listens to them and they need that like, I'm gonna smush your face on the cold tile floor with my stiletto. They need that, you know? And they're like, oh yeah. It restores a sense of balance. Like I can be very submissive. I like a good firm man because I mean, look at me, like I never shut up. Like, so I need a guy who's like, shut up. So like, because I'm like, oh yeah, balance is restored. And then in the hookup, when that balance kind of equalizes, then you guys can like take on the roles however you want. Like you can be the dominating one and like he can like do that a little bit too. But you know, it's all about what makes you comfortable. So an easy way to dominate a guy is to choke him. And I feel like I talk about choking like too much. I'm so sorry. I really hope my mom wants to watch. But like, remember, choking should never be a cuff. Like a claw, it should be, I'm sorry, it should never be a claw, it should be a cuff. Like, where you're just kind of like pressing, it's like pressing down and like up. It's not like squeezing, like that hurts and it hits your tendons, yeah. Or hold him down while you're on top, like hold him by the wrist. Oh my God, they love that, they love that. Buy restraints, like get restraints under your bed. One of my friends was like, this was like a few years ago, and one of our other friends, she's like, restraints under your bed, and everyone was like, you don't have those? We like shamed her into buying them on Amazon, like right then. Like losers. So it's like, you just gotta be prepared because then it's like, you're like, hold out your arm. He's like, why? It's like, just hold it the fuck out. And you like restrain him. It's like, hold out the other one. Don't make me ask twice. You know, little things like that. It doesn't really have to be over the top, you know, just a little. Just a little bit, and like feel it out. Like don't go into a situation and be like, I'm gonna choke him and then I'm gonna strain him and blah blah blah. Like know your audience, you know, like really always do kind of a temperature check and always have a safe word. Everyone jokes that the safe word is banana. I prefer to have safe words like stoplights. Like red is obviously stop. Yellow though is like slow down, you know, like oh, a little less hard, blah blah blah. Because people like safe words because then they can be like, no, don't stop. And the other person doesn't have to be like, wait, really? They're like, no, just, no, really? No. You know, so you have like that vocabulary and then it can just like go. Somebody hid their question for privacy. When will we get an email when you answer? Yes, you should. Yeah, it should notify you. If for whatever reason that doesn't, you guys, comment on my like latest Instagram. If you DM me, I have like 2,500 DMs, like I never see them. So, but if you leave a comment, I see it like instantaneously, okay? So I hope this was fun. I really want to do more happy ending stuff. So, okay, I'm working on my website now and I'm thinking of having some happy ending videos like on the site, like behind a paywall so that YouTube like doesn't know about it. And then we can do like a BJ tutorial, like for real, for real. I mean, not with like a guy, come on, with like a cartoon. That's, why did I say that? That sounds so much weirder. You know what I mean? So I think that could be a really cool like part of the website. But hopefully my website will be up and running in a week and you guys can submit your questions there instead of on Instant Go, which I am so psyched about. I'm gonna get off this chat and get to all of your Instant Go questions that I know you guys have been submitting. But in the meantime, if you do want to talk to me privately one-on-one, head to the Instant Go app, download it, or wait a week. And if you're on there, click, my username is ShallonXO and click chat to get connected. And be sure to follow me on Instagram at ShallonXO. And right now, I'm gonna go film a video on Drake! Y'all have been asking for this Drake video forever. Today's the day. It'll be up tomorrow. Because the devil works hard, but what? That's right. Shallon works harder. All right, guys. I love you guys. I will see you soon. Thank you to everyone who donated. Like, this made my life, and honestly, you've created a monster, because we're gonna do this again at Christmas time. And then I think in the spring, I really wanna find like a family that we can work with and help, like a single mama with like middle school kids, somebody who's in the shelter system. We can do so much good. So I'm like beyond excited for this. Okay. I love you guys.